Researchers share that learners who understand and are engaged in self-assessment are independent and take ownership for their learning progress. As a result, the learners are more focused on their work. For E4, you should see learners using or responding to strategies that strengthen their understanding of how their work will be assessed. The word assessment in this item should not only be interpreted as student work that earns a numerical grade. Assessments consist of the varied tools and methods used to measure, document, and evaluate students' learning, progress, skills, and next-level readiness. While observing, you might see learners reflecting on learning progress based on specific learning objectives or expectations. You should see learners demonstrating knowledge of how work is assessed and striving to achieve objectives. Additionally, an observer will see learners referring to rubrics, exemplars, or graphics as reminders of what is required to complete the assignments. Now, watch these elementary students process how their work will be assessed.
Is there a way to do this? Now, I want you to either choose what we've done here in green or in red. At the top part of the paper, you're go ahead and fill in what we were talking about with the vertex to vertex cut, and then one with the midpoint from one side to the opposite midpoint. But then look over here at Ms. Blunt. How many cakes below do you have to practice with?
6.
All right, you've got 6 cakes to practice with. So I want you to try it with your partner. You're each going to have your own paper, but I want you to work with your partner and talk about this. And then what is it that we're supposed to do here? Prove your findings, and then what?
Using pictures and words to explain your thinking and who you think is correct.
So we're going to find out who was correct. Was it Jessica or was it Katie that was correct? And you're going to be using pictures, so you're going to be drawing this. If you need to make any other pictures, you can. But I want you to be able to explain to me or to Ms. Blunt how you know that Jessica's correct or how you know that Katie is correct. Who has a question about what we're going to be doing next when we move to the tables? Violet.
At the bottom, do you do the same thing as the top?
No, when you get to the other cakes, this is where you're trying to see, is there another way to do this? Okay? So I want you to look and discuss with your partner. You just have to make a straight cut, but is there a place where we could make a straight cut, and still have equal size pieces? Okay? So this will take some discussion before you start drawing your lines, but you've got different ways that you could try this. Yes, ma'am?
Do they have to be straight lines?
That's what I see here. There are other ways to make one cut and share the cake equally besides the ways. Well, it doesn't say that they have to be straight.
The learners showed their understanding of how they would be assessed by answering the teacher's questions, reading aloud the learning target, and then asking specific questions for clarification. One student specifically asked, "At the bottom, do we do the same thing as the top?" Another student wanted to know, "Does it have to be straight lines?" Both questions were examples of ways learners process the instructions. They wanted to be clear so that they could perform their best on the worksheet. How would you rate this item? It is rated very evident for several reasons. First, it appeared that all the learners knew the routine of asking questions to understand what the teacher expected. Secondly, the learners had several opportunities to ask clarifying questions. You can infer from the verbal exchange that the students were given time to work in groups so that they could all do their best on this informal assessment, the completion of the worksheet.